What's popping is villainus. Overthrow media, which is the best place for politics, hip hop, and life. Today was another story time. We about to be talking about how I got my first felony at 14. Let's get it.
Walking through the crease and the cracks of the streets, struggling for some food and a bed to sleep, while trying to cause overthrow. I'm feeling weak, ideology buff over.
So, I caught my first felony at 14 years old. I caught it from school, right? And it was one of the dumbest things ever. This is what happened. Check it out. I was in the behavior classes, right? And I was in special ed because I was dyslexic and I had behavior problems, I had temper problems. So I get into fights with people and shit back when I was younger. Calmed down a lot as I got older, but it's just being young and it's just being abused and shit, you have some anger problems. So basically I was in class, in behavior class. That teacher had actually priorly told me that I was gonna get life in prison for beating someone over the head with a baseball bat. I don't know how she made up that whole fictional story about me, but that was what was gonna happen to me at 16 years old in her head. Now I'm in middle school, so I'm 14, whatever. That's not really a thing you tell a 14-year-old that is gonna happen to him. In fact, you fear that, you try to stop him, but that's not what my teacher was on. And she was really pretty anti-black, which is sad because she's native, right? And, I'm black, white, and native. That's all together. But in the day, I'm a nigga, I'm black. In the day. Grew up in the hood, I am what I am. The teacher, I think it was actually saying that to me, I think is what it was. And I was like, all right, fuck that, fuck this class, and I left. But I left out of such an emotional response that I didn't think to grab my bag. So they called the security, and security met up with me in the hallway and started escorting me off the premises. Telling me I had to go, I was like, what do you think I'm trying to do? I'm trying to leave this damn school. I don't want to be here right now. You think I want to be here? Then I realized I forgot my bag. I knew that if I went home without my bag, my grandma would have beat the living shit out of me. So I was like, I gotta go get my bag. And he was like, no, you gotta leave. I was like, man, you can escort me up there. I just need to get my bag. That's all that matters is me getting my bag, and I'll be the fuck out your hair. But when I turned around, he was like, no, and then he tackled me. This is a grown-ass man tackling a 14-year-old, mind you. Slammed me on the ground, which was it was like cement that was glossed over, how schools have. I'm outside the gym, and I'm just like, man, about to lose it at this point. I'm like, man, this dude just tackled me. I hadn't done anything legit besides walk out the class. So me walking out of class does not give this adult the right to put their hands on a 14-year-old. Definitely doesn't give him the right to slam me on the ground. In my 14-year-old brain, well, I really wasn't thinking, but I just started threatening dude. I'll fucking kill you, you fucking piece of shit. Wait, I get up and fucking show you. All that type of thing. You know what I mean? Now, I'm not really any threat. I'm pinned the fuck down. And before that, I wasn't even aggressive. Was I a smart ass? Absolutely. But was I aggressive? No. But then he called the police. Now, the fun thing about this is this was after a notorious school shooting. So it was not really a good time for me to do that. You know what I mean? To respond that way. Well, the police showed up, cuffed me, and took me to juvenile hall. Now, mind you that legally that shouldn't even be a charge, because if I threaten you because you assaulted me, that's part of defense, whether it's trying to intimidate somebody off of you or not. That's a form of defense. But it doesn't matter because he's a security guard, he's white, and I'm a big black kid. You know what I mean? So one thing you find out when you get juvenile, right? They strip you out, man, in front of, it was actually a woman that stripped me out. So making me squat and cough, lift my balls, all these things. As grown-ass people, looking at these children naked. So then I changed into the uniform and they took me downstairs where they promptly put me in a cell. And when you're a juvenile, at least the one out here, you don't share cells, you're by yourself. Now this is in Seattle, different places function differently, Now, one thing you don't realize until you're there, the first time you go to jail is the longest, slowest experience of your life. Once you've been there and you go back, it's not as hard. But at a 14-year-old brain where everything's already slow, every minute was like an hour. When you're in juvie, you have about 21 to 23 hour lockdowns. So you don't really come out your cell, which is, prison is a little different. Jail's a little different. You get a little more time out the cell, but when you're in juvie, they just keep you pent in. I remember marching back and forth, just freaking out, locked in this cage. And you never realize how much as a human being, you're not supposed to be locked in a cage until you're locked in a cage. Humans were not made to be locked in cages. It's not good for you. Like, you start freaking out, time slows down to a crawl. One of the worst mistakes you can make, which was the one that ever makes, is just looking at that little window all day, wanting to be freer than you are. Shit, even to get into the pod. And then once you get food, the food is just smooth trash. The food is just poisonous. It's toxic as hell. It tastes like crap. Now everybody else in there is pissed off. I'm street, but it didn't really happen for me until after juvie. You feel me? Like, I was kind of street. I did some stuff, but it was like kid shit. Yo, we stole cigarettes and sold them. We did things like that. It wasn't anything like serious. So when I went in there, I was not ready for that. But you get ready. Life makes you ready. And that was literally the hardest weekend of my life because people were testing me left and right. I think I got in one weekend with 21-hour lockdown. I got in like 2 fights that one weekend. Now, which for me wasn't really that much, like, because I was bullied a lot in school and I didn't take being bullied easy. I'd fight back all the time. But it was a different type of thing. Bullies ain't street. They ain't street. Street motherfuckers have a different type of throw when they throw their punches, you know what I mean? And I was in there with motherfuckers who murdered people, motherfuckers who had gun charges, people who have been banging since they were like 11. Now, my brothers and shit, my foster brothers, came later in my life, you know what I mean? So they banged and they were cripped out, but I wasn't at that. I had been around people who banged. A lot of people I grew up with banged, but it wasn't my day-to-day, you know what I mean? That's my homies, you feel me? And, prison just run differently. Juvies ran differently. Juvie's kind of like prison, but like everybody's more immature and more hostile. I remember getting out. When I got out, it was like the weekend, I took a deferred disposition. Never take a deferred disposition. They're a trap. They are a trap. You're going to catch that felony. You know what I mean? Unless you're super square bear, which I was not. Unless you super duper square bear, you need to go ahead and just take a regular plea. If you one of the motherfuckers that have a nice life and you just is one thing and your life is peaches, yeah, sure, take a deferred disposition, do good in school, don't get fucked with. But I always get suspended. I was always getting in fights. I was always into shit, you know what I mean? So that wasn't a move for me, which led to me later on getting caught up in violations. And then it became a felony. And I think my violation was like talking back to a teacher because it says I'm a racist. Like, dead ass. Like, nowadays, that teacher would probably get disciplined. But instead, I went to juvie. I also gave my grandmother, who was extremely abusive, the power to like call the police and have me arrested at any time. I remember multiple times waking up with police surrounding my bed just to go to juvie because I made my grandma mad and didn't clean good enough or something. And she didn't feel like the whooping she gave me was good enough. That branded me for life. That first felony, that changed my life forever. Kind of glad it did, because I'm a better person now than I would have been if I was a complete square and not got in trouble. If I would have pulled back from doing a little mischief shit and not gone into the streets instead. I would have went square bear route. I would have been a shittier person. I would have less understanding what struggle is, less understanding what it is to actually be oppressed. And I definitely wouldn't be a communist or an anarchist right now. I'm grateful that that happened, but forever, it's fuck that security guard. It's fuck that school, and it's fuck the system. Because there's no way I should go in jail for that. A child being tackled by an adult. Whatever they say after they're tackled is irrelevant. Just is. Anyways, thanks for rocking with me. I appreciate y'all. Y'all are the shit. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe and the little bell to stay notified. Leave a comment in the comment section. Have you caught a felony? Have you been in jail? How old were you? What was it like? Or was school really good to you? Were the people around you really good and you never caught that? What was that experience like? Explain to me what biases it may have left you with when it comes to people like me or other people that have felonies. If you like this channel, you want to support it, you can cop some of these dope-ass t-shirts off Teespring, or you can become a Patreon. Give a monthly contribution that keeps this channel running and keeps all this content coming out. All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all for rocking with me. I'm out.
Shout out to all my Patreons who keep this content coming. If it wasn't for them, this would not be happening. Their names are found across the screen right now. And if you like this song that's in the background, link is in description. On Sunday, we are having a Let's Play marathon of Among Us with some of your favorite YouTubers and artists to raise money for those behind bars fighting for the rights. Make sure you're there and bring a little bit of dope, maybe even play a little. Alright, I'll catch y'all. Deuces.
Straight social Darwinist, pawns massacring, village and communities burning.